Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk EFL. I'm Millie.
I'm James.
And this week we're locking in our League 2 Week 3 predictions. If you're wondering why we're a bit early with this one, it's because there is a game on Thursday for some reason.
As you guys may be aware, we're doing a Super 6 style game where you get 5 points for a correct score, 2 points for a correct result, and nada for nada. So the results we're in for game week 2. Millie, you have 8 points, which is 4 correct results. And I have got 10 points, which is 5 correct results. So finally I've won something.
I've got to point out those scores are pretty bad, aren't they?
Yeah, they're terrible.
We did so badly this week.
They are really, really bad.
They'll be better this week. Shall we lock in our predictions now?
Yes, let's go. Starting off with Thursday's fixture, Notts County versus Grimsby. Millie, what have you gone for?
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one this because Notts County, they got the draw at home against Fleetwood on the weekend. And despite going 2-0 down, they ended up being quite unlucky not to get 3 points. As for Grimsby, I feel like they were good value for their win against Cheltenham on the weekend. It was a fantastic second goal. I'm going to say for this game, Notts County 1, Grimsby 1. What about you?
So for Notts County, it was a poor 46 minutes, but they did come back and earn themselves a decent draw. And Grimsby, 2 fantastic goals out of the 3 they scored. They looked very, very good. But I'm going to say Notts County 1, Grimsby 1. Next up, we have Crewe versus Swindon. What are you going for?
It's been a bit of a poor start for last year's playoff finalists, Crewe. They lost 1-0 in their first game and they've lost 5-0 in their last game over the weekend against Chesterfield. So they're yet to score a goal, but it's a long way to go yet. And for Swindon, I think their one shot on target over the weekend was good, but that's all they really did. So there's not really much to go on with them other than it was another poor result. It was 4-0. I think I'm going to go for Crewe Alexandra 1, Swindon Town 0.
Yeah, it was a poor performance by Crewe. They had a few chances, and if they did score, it would have just been a consolation goal. And Swindon, when they played Walsall, lost 4-0. They just didn't show up. And it was just a really, really poor result at home. I'm going to go for Crewe 2, Swindon 0. Next up, we have Tranmere versus Walsall.
Yeah, Tranmere don't really have the entertainment factor, do they? It's 2 0-0 draws on the trot now for them. Walsall, on the other hand, winning 4-0 away to Swindon last week. Very early indications of a strong side there. Maybe some dark horses on our hands with a 100% start. I'm going to go for Tranmere 0, Walsall 3.
Tranmere were very, very lucky to go home with a draw. It was just purely because Port Vale missed so many chances. Tranmere need to score. Walsall, on the other hand, fantastic result. 2 wins on the trot. Probably going to be 3 wins on the trot. So I'm going to go for Tranmere 0, Walsall 2. Next we have Barrow versus Port Vale. What have you gone for?
Yeah, the Barrow fans' hearts were broken right at the end there with that disallowed goal. But it was offside. So other than that, no shots on target for Barrow in the last game. And Port Vale with their 0-0 draw over the weekend with Tranmere. I think they may be quite disappointed not to get anything out of that game. But I do think they'll get something out of the next game. I'm going for Barrow 1, Port Vale 2.
Although Barrow had the majority of the possession, they just did nothing with it. I think the goalkeeper should have done better for the Carlisle goal. Port Vale played quite well, but they just needed that all-important goal. I'm also going to go for Barrow 1, Port Vale 2. Next up, we have Bradford City versus Bromley.
Yeah, I think Bradford will be quite disappointed with their 0-0 draw against Salford over the weekend. They should have put at least one of their chances away. They were good going forward, but I just think they needed to be more clinical. And for Bromley, another fantastic 2-0 win. Michael Cheek on the score sheet again. And Bromley haven't even conceded yet. But I am going to go for Bradford 1, Bromley 2.
Yeah, I think it was really, really poor from Bradford. They should have beaten Salford. Salford were also very, very poor. I personally believe they need to get better signings in before the transfer window finishes. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a worry this season. And Bromley, another fantastic result. Another 2-0 win. Can they get 2-0 again? I don't think so. I'm going to go for Bradford 1, Bromley 1. Next up, we've got Cheltenham versus Wimbledon. What are you going for?
Yeah, Cheltenham lost over the weekend against Grimsby and they conceded a last-minute goal and that would have been absolutely gutting for them. But it probably was a fair result. Grimsby were the better team in that game, I think. And Wimbledon also lost over the weekend, 2-0 against Bromley. They came close a few times, but they were caught on the break twice for both the goals. So they're going to need to improve on that. I'm going to go for Cheltenham 3, Wimbledon 1.
Yeah, I think it was poor defending for Cheltenham for the first goal. They did really well to pull 2 goals back and they must have been gutted to concede that last-minute goal. Wimbledon, the defence really needs to improve. They weren't clinical enough and they should be worried because Cheltenham do score goals. I'm going to go for Cheltenham 2, Wimbledon 1. Next up, we have Chesterfield versus Salford.
An emphatic win for Chesterfield over the weekend against Crewe. Chesterfield have arrived. And Salford, it was a good point away from home considering they didn't do much in the game against Bradford. I'm going to go for...
Oh, I missed it, Meg.
Chesterfield 4, Salford 1.
Yep. Chesterfield ran riot against the poor Crewe side, and I think they could have definitely had more. Salford, on the other hand, 2 games without a win, 2 games without a goal. It's a little bit concerning for me. I'm a bit worried for them. I do, however, think that Salford will get a goal, but it's going to be Chesterfield 3, Salford 1. Next on the list is Colchester versus Harrogate.
Yeah, I think for Colchester, against MK Dons over the weekend, they were lucky to not go behind at the start of that game, but they looked better after scoring, and now they have 3 points on the board. And Harrogate were part of an entertaining 3-3 draw against Accrington over the weekend. The first goal screamed EFL.
Yeah.
Second goal was a beauty, and they got the point despite Accrington Stanley being the better team in my opinion. But I am going to go for the home win, 2-0 Colchester.
Yep. Colchester soaked up the pressure well against MK Dons, caught them on the break, and ultimately punished them to get a 2-0 win. Harrogate, decent result away from home. Lucky to get the draw, I think. I'm going to go for Colchester 2, Harrogate 0. Samesies.
Samesies.
Next, we have Doncaster against Morecambe.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise result for Doncaster over the weekend, losing 3-1 against Newport. But obviously they weren't clinical enough this time. Morecambe, they did better in their game against Gillingham over the weekend than they did in their first game against Walsall, because this time there were some shots on target. Tough game next for them though. I'm going to go for Doncaster 3, Morecambe 0.
Yeah, for Doncaster it was a poor result. They had more shots on goal than Newport, but just weren't clinical enough. It was the complete opposite of week 1. And for Morecambe, another 1-0 defeat. They just need to be more clinical, tighter at the back. I think it's going to be a close score. And sorry Morecambe, but I'm going to go for Doncaster 1, Morecambe 0. Next we have Fleetwood versus Gillingham.
Yeah, it was a great first half for Fleetwood against Notts County. There were some good goals. Fell off in the second half and probably lucky to get the point in the end. And it's been the perfect start to the season for Gillingham. Maximum points, but there's a big test coming up for them. I am going to say Fleetwood 1, Gillingham 1.
Yeah, for Fleetwood, it was definitely a game of 2 halves. Great first half, but capitulated in the second half. Gillingham, well-earned result against Morecambe. 1-0 winners. Like you said, unbeaten this season. However, I think it's going to change. I'm going to go for Fleetwood 2, Gillingham 1. Next, we have MK Dons versus Carlisle. What are you going for?
Yeah, MK Dons can't seem to get started, can they? Despite positive signs going forward. Carlisle winning 1-0 against Barrow over the weekend. I think they were the more creative of the two sides, and they maybe should have got another goal. I think MK Dons are going to get started. I'm saying MK Dons 2, Carlisle 1.
Yeah, MK Dons, it wasn't their day again. They need to be more clinical in front of goal and actually take their chances when they've got them. They seem like they dominate games, but just have no end product. And a good result for Carlisle. This will definitely boost their confidence after losing 4-1 to Gillingham. But I am going to go for the same result as you. I'm going to go for MK Dons 2, Carlisle 1. And last but not least, we have Newport versus Accrington.
Yeah, Newport got a great result against Doncaster over the weekend. 3-1 winners. Some good clinical finishing in that game for them. And Baker Richardson on the score sheet again. Lots of positives at the moment for Newport. And I think Accrington were the better team against Harrogate in their 3-3 draw on Saturday. Tyler Walton with 2 in 2 games. They'll be devastated that they conceded that last minute equaliser. I'm going to go for Newport 2, Accrington Stanley 1.
Yeah, for Newport, great goals, great comeback after going 1-0 down to Doncaster. Overall, a great result, and they punished Doncaster. I think Accrington Stanley fans will be very disappointed with the result. The stats don't lie. Accrington were far better than Harrogate. It's also worth noting that Accrington have conceded 7 goals in 2 games. I'm going to go for Newport 3, Accrington 1.
I've noticed that a lot of our predictions are very similar to each other this time round.
Yeah, I think it's because you know you're going to lose, so you want to catch up with me.
We'll see.
So that's it for our Week 3 League 2 predictions. What do you think? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know your predictions in the comments. Don't forget to like and please subscribe to the video. We really appreciate it. Please make sure you join us for our Week 3 Championship predictions.
Coming up next.
We'll see you then.
Bye.